Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Justice P. Sathasivam, and a pleasure to welcome each one of you here as well. The Express Technology Sabha, now in its 19th edition, is India's largest and most respected e-governance seminar. And these few months have proved to be quite crucial for e-governance in India. TRAI's critical rulings on differential pricing, just as recently as, I think, about 15 days ago, I think really shows just how quickly the Indian regulatory bodies are getting, are maturing and sort of facing the challenge of Digital India, which is the government's new flagship program. So I think, given this background, Justice Sathasivam is almost the perfect guest at Technology Sabha because he's someone who understands tough decision making. He was appointed the permanent judge of the Madras High Court in 1996 and transferred to the Punjab and Haryana High Court in 2007. He was elevated to the post of Judge of Supreme Court on 21st August 2007 and sworn in as the 40th Chief Justice of India in 2013. He has, to his credit, several path-breaking judgments, which include the Reliance gas judgment, wherein he observed that in a national democracy like ours, the national assets belong to the people. He upheld the conviction of Dara Singh, 1993 Mumbai blast case, where he sentenced several accused persons, including Bollywood actor Sanjay Dutt, to 5 years imprisonment. It is for these reasons that I'm sure Justice Sathasivam might not remember, but we met about 4 years ago. We had invited him to be the chief guest of the Goenka Journalism Awards in Delhi. And I still remember I was very touched by his speech, where he said that he picked up the English language by reading newspapers. So we really salute and respect his journey, his personal journey here. Sir, thank you so much for being here.
Sri Anant Goenka, Director and Head New Media, the Express Group. Dr. Raghu Pillai, Assistant Vice President, the Indian Express Group. Distinguished delegates from all over in our country, ladies and gentlemen, my friends in media, good evening to all. I am indeed happy to address you all this fine evening at the 19th edition of Express Technology Sabha, which seeks to deliberate on bringing technology closer to the people. This initiative of the Indian Express Group is significant in that it addresses the issues related to better delivery of service in society. I'm glad to note that the Express Technology Sabha over the years has been functioning as India's premier e-governance forum, setting up several seminars with leadership dialogues, case studies and practices, networking opportunities and technology showcases. The Indian Express, with a history of over 75 years, has always been a household name among the reading public in India. Having drawn strength from the freedom movement, the paper had won considerable readership in latter years through a distinct style and approach to the social issues. The quality of journalism it practiced has brought many laurels, like the India Award of Vienna-based International Press Institute and Natalie Prize for Journalism. With technology changing and advancing at an unimaginable speed, it is natural that a socially committed organization thinks of effectively using technology for the benefit of society. The theme selected for this edition of Technology Sabha is quite appropriate, namely, co-creating a digital India, leveraging technology to make India smart. It will focus on how government and the business community can make maximum use of technology to fulfill the vision of digital India. As we all know, the National eGovernance Plan has been working towards making technology citizen friendly and service oriented, which has much transparency as possible. The National eGovernance Plan takes a holistic view of e-governance initiatives across the country, interacting them into a collective vision or a shared cause. In accordance with this plan, efforts are on to make necessary infrastructure available even in villages. The objective of all such infrastructure is to ensure that technology enables the provision of maximum number of services at the doorsteps of the common man. Friends, such ambitious programs can be effectively implemented only through participation of all sectors, including the private sector. I am happy that this edition of Express Technology Sabha seeks to explore the possible areas where the business houses can also contribute to the dream of digital India, which envisions to prepare India for knowledge-based transformation. The participation of entrepreneurs is essential in such initiatives because it is in the area of business that the best climate for innovations usually exists. And the climate for the innovative action is essential in making digital India in a reality. At this occasion, I am happy to highlight the Kerala experience in digital empowerment. From digital awareness, Kerala is poised to move to a level of digital empowerment of the masses. Kerala has been the first state in the country to be linked to the National Optical Fiber Network, the Union government's ambitious project to offer high-speed broadband connectivity in all panchayats in our country, in the country. This was achieved by Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, BSNL, under the Digital India program being initiated by the Union government to boost high-speed rural broadband network. Kerala has been very quick to adopt a new technology, and we have exemplary models like Akshaya Kendras, which provide a host of government-related services to the public at the most affordable rates, with a very high level of mobile penetration, which comes to more than 30 million connections. Digital empowerment would be easier than in other states. Internet has reached over 20% of households through broadband and another 15% through mobile connections in Kerala. All these conditions point towards the aptness of choosing Kerala's metro city of Kochi as the venue for this technology Sabha. The deliberations at this 3-day conference, I am sure, will benefit Kerala by enabling to explore superior e-governance programs. Stopping for a moment, just I will highlight one incident. We know, as far as I am concerned, now I am 67. During my school days or college days, I had no opportunity to learn all these modern technology. No, this advantage made me to think several times when I was hearing a biggest case ever heard by Supreme Court in the history from 1950 till 2013. That was the case pertains to or case relates to first Mumbai blast case 1993. That was unfortunately that was the first bomb blast that took place in Mumbai in which 285 persons killed and several hundred persons injured. The case was entrusted to a special court by the CBI. After thorough investigation, the special judge started hearing the case. It went for 13 full years. That was the only case that heard by a special judge, 13 years. I heard before completion of that trial or that case, the judges who undertook were elevated to High Court. 3 or 4 judges were elevated to High Court during that period. Ultimately, you might have come across the case ended in conviction, awarding death sentence to 13 persons and more than 20 persons, 20 to 25 as life sentence and various other sentences. But everybody, they mention only about the conviction on the senior actor as if that is the main thing. No. Then because not only the offences under the Indian Penal Code involved in those cases, but also the TADA offences. So as per the TADA provisions, against the conviction of a special court, the High Court has no jurisdiction to hear that. Only the appeal lies to Supreme Court. Accordingly, all the convicted persons and even the CBI has also filed an appeal against award of lesser sentence to some persons. The appeal was entertained by the Supreme Court. The then Chief Justice of India, Chief Justice Kapadia, entrusted those batch of cases to me, myself and my partner judge, Justice Chauhan. Because the allocation of work is the prerogative of the Chief Justice, no judge has any right or say in this. So I readily agreed. And in that week, when I want to spend some time in my native village, I requested my secretary, Madam, you circulate that copy of the judgment so that while traveling from Delhi to Chennai and Chennai to my native district, I want to go through it. On hearing my request, she was standing like a tree. Now I asked, what is the problem, madam? Sir, if you want to read the judgment, you have to travel in a lorry, we have to send it in the truckload. Because the judgment alone running into 24,000 pages, leave alone the other exhibits, evidence, etc. So I said, not possible. It's not possible. All right, leave it. When I return back, I will start reading. Why I am mentioning, when we started hearing this case, it went for 10 full months. That's why I said this was the highest case ever heard by the Supreme Court in the history from 1950. We On the first day itself, we informed the council that we are not going to adjourn or postpone the hearing. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, these 3 days, from 10:30 to 4 or 4:30, we will hear only this case. Till we complete the arguments, we won't adjournment, we won't grant passover or adjournment. Monday and Friday, you may come across, it is a admission day for Supreme Court. We hear fresh cases. Now I am coming to the point, how we were updated at that time. The CBI has to wanted to lead the argument, be permitted. At that time, I remember Mr. Gopal Subramaniam, then Solicitor General, he entered the court hall. At that time, I was a fourth judge in the fourth court hall. We in the entire court hall was dumped with the case records, because thousands of pages, judgments and documents. But the counsel who is going to argue for CBI, he entered the court hall with a smiling face, not having anything in his hand. Both of us, both the judges sitting on the dais, we are anxious to verify why he is coming with an empty hand. And after occupying his seat, he just put his hand in the coat pocket, took a small iPad. With that, he started arguing the case. Though we struggled with the 24,000 page judgment and documents, with a small, why I am mentioning, this is with the modern technology, he able to keep everything in a small disk, which was taken by the special court for 13 years and by us 10 months. And we were carrying several documents to our home, because both of us, myself and Justice Chauhan, we were not familiar. At that time, even we didn't permit even a counsel to use laptop or anything. So that was the first case we granted permission to bring those instruments inside the court hall. Then we delivered the judgment. That's why I said other merits of the case we are not concerned. So in every field, everyone must have this modern technology. Of course, now the Supreme Court is updated. A person sitting in Kochi or Kanyakumari or Kashmir, even without going to Supreme Court, can file a case, can get it numbered, ascertain whether his case is pending or disposed of, whether his counsel argued, if so, how long, what is the result, what is the type of order passed, everything. By click a button, he can get all those information. Only for that I am saying. So coming to the present scenario, the topic selected by the express group for discussion for 1 or 2 days may be relevant. So the topic scheduled for the conference, like bridging the digital divide, smart electronic service delivery, technologies for smart water and energy management, intelligent traffic management systems, etc., are all very relevant. It is also satisfying to note that cyber security and video crime monitoring are also topics for discussion. This is very important. That is, cyber security and video crime monitoring are also topics for discussion. I would request the delegates to also think of awareness programs about cyber crimes among users of information and communication technology. This is also very relevant. See, now we are using modern technology in every field. I used to tell my son, when I was in his age, my son is MS IT, he did his post-graduation in information technology in Queensland University. He is familiar with the modern technology. In his age, when I was in college and when I was a young lawyer, I always prefer to take the passbook in my bank passbook in my pocket, go to the bank, stand in a queue and give it to the person concerned. Please make all entries in the passbook. Then I will bring it. Then only I will have a satisfaction. That was the position even for getting a rail ticket or air ticket also. We have to go and stand hours together. And when we go near the counter, they say the time for lunch, they will close it. Then we have to go back, again come after 1 hour. That was the position during my days. Person like my son, that's why I said, he operates everything from his mobile or iPad. So modern technology has gone to that extent in all fields. That saves time, energy, but at the same time, I have a little apprehension in a country like us, where more population, more manpower is available. We have to utilize the human power also. We can't ignore the human power and utilize only technology, and we may give unpardoned thing to our youngsters. Then with more and more people resorting to the use of such modern and fascinating technology, there are chances or even threats of misuse which could create problems in society as well as infrastructure management. Such issues should not be allowed to stand in the way of ordinary people availing online services without fear. I sincerely hope that the 19th edition of Express Technology Sabha would ensure a significant contribution to the efforts at creating a digital India. I wish the organizers of this worthwhile conference all success and hope that the delegates have a wonderful stay at their God's own country. Jai Hind.
So I think thanking note, really, I think it was a very appropriate speech, sir. Um, the take back for us is that the next Tech Sabha will invite you with your son, right? No, you very rightly said that technology was sort of moving a little bit slowly in terms of how the judiciary used to utilize technology. Um, One of the accusations that people keep making to journalists is that we are creating an environment where there's a lot of trial by media. So if you look at Salman Khan, Arushi, Sheena Bora, all the cases you can think of in the recent past, um, there is a situation where there is a public perception which is created by media coverage, which doesn't really consider all the proceedings in court. One of the reasons for that is that because the judgments are so long, it's very difficult to read. That's one of the serious problems. But do you agree, sir? Do you think that media is being a little bit irresponsible in terms of covering matters that are in court?
Yes. As far as the media trial by media is concerned, it depends upon the person. No, I was in judiciary for nearly 19 years. From the day one and the last day when I retired as a 40th Chief Justice of India, no, I had the occasion to move with journalists very closely. That's why when I was a Chief Justice of India, many of the legal correspondents at Delhi, particularly the English dailies, they used to contact me over my mobile. My private secretaries and security officers used to caution me, sir, now you are a Chief Justice of India, why you are contacting, they are contacting you over mobile. See, all of them, they are not going to ask anything except maybe today we delivered several judgments. They may have some doubt or they may require the copy of that order only for that. So no problem, I will take care of it. To that extent, I maintained a good relationship. Coming to the trial by media, my view is that if the correspondent is familiar with the court proceedings. In other words, legal correspondence. In Supreme Court, based on their qualification and experience, we give permission. That is called, they are called accredited journalists. They can enter up to the dais and note down what is happening in their court. But all the correspondents are not getting that facilities. If they are capable or if they able to follow the facts of the case and the interaction between the judge and the lawyers, if it is relevant, they are free to publish it. Otherwise, my request is they have to wait till a final decision by the court. Even orally, if the court issues some direction, nothing wrong in publishing it on the next day. But mere observation, see, a judge has to be interactive. I will give one illustration. Pardon me for citing my own experience.
No, please, very welcome to. Very welcome.
When I was hearing one day, very sensational matter, Mr. Rajiv Dhawan, leading senior lawyer from Delhi, he was arguing that case. Even now that case is still pending, I remember, subject to correction. That relates to, it's a PIL, public interest litigation, seeking action against or seeking direction to the members of parliament who are all facing some criminal prosecution. And he mentioned the number of persons having criminal prosecution, maybe FIR stage, or case may be pending in the trial court, charge sheet filed, or maybe some stage pending in some courts. While hearing the matter, incidentally I said, Mr. Dhawan, is it so that so much of, I mentioned the number, member of parliaments are facing criminal prosecution. That is the only sentence I uttered with a little anxiety. I realized after 15 minutes, all the electronic media scroll was going in all televisions. The Supreme Court astonished, so much of members are facing criminal prosecution. So that may not be good news, because see, if any presiding judge keeps mum or keeps idle, you may not get a good judgment from them. Unless the judge or judges must interact, get good answers, you can't. So, the media is permitted to publish what is happening in the court, but at the same time, they cannot conclude, because even take the case of what is going on in our state, somebody he or she makes some statement before a court, and the person concerned denies. So at that stage, it won't be proper to accuse anyone as like a convicted accused or convicted prisoner. Ultimately, it is for the court or commission to arrive a conclusion that there should be a final decision. Sometimes publishing even at the earlier stage, even at the FIR stage or at the hearing stage, and giving more information to the public, it may affect the mind of the persons. Afterwards, if some error or something, normally neither electronic nor print media publish it on the same place. It may be available on 12th page or 5th page, some correction. So, in other words, my request is the correspondent, whatever, whether court case or political meeting, if he is competent to know all the details, let all news come. Need not convey likely to be convicted or likely to be ended in this type, etc.
Very true, sir. And one of the reasons, and we don't do TV, we don't have electronic media, but one of the things I feel a little sorry for the TV guys is that they don't have any footage. No cameras are allowed in court, so they're forced to sort of sensationalize a little bit. The moment that people come out of court, cameras go straight to them and gets a little bit difficult. But sir, overall, there has been a feeling that the courts have been, especially High Court, Supreme Court, have been getting more active, taking suo motu notice more than they used to in the past. Do you agree with that, sir?
This may be correct last 10 years, because in those days, before a decade, only the parties under dispute go to the court. Nowadays, so many public important issues, PILs, and so many political cases are also, not this kind of criminal prosecution, Prevention of Corruption Act, so many things. So, but Supreme Court itself, the highest court itself framed guidelines for entertaining PILs. Not all cases Supreme Court suo motu takes cognizance. I will give one illustration and complete this answer. When I was a Chief Justice of India for 9.5 months, nearly 10 months, one day the practice in the Supreme Court is at 10:15, all judges, including Chief Justice of India, has to assemble in the lounge, meant for judges, take tea or coffee or nariyal pani. Thereafter, at 10:27 to 10:28, the judges start leaving the court, so that they will be on the dais at 10:30. One day, on the fine morning, at 10:25, one of my colleagues entrusted, while going on the corridor to enter the court hall, entrusted one English newspaper published, coming from Kolkata. Sir, this is an important news. It is for the Chief Justice to decide. If you feel that it is a fit case, you are free to take appropriate. He entrusted. Before going into the court hall, on the corridor itself, I was reading. I was along with the other two honorable judges. Then in the outside itself, it is a very important issue. A tribal girl was the 6 or 7 persons of a remote village committed rape of a tribal girl, and even after 1 week, no proper action. That was highlighted by the news media. Then all the 3 judges decided, why not we take this issue, take this newspaper publication as a suo motu, and why not we take cognizance and take appropriate measures. So on reaching the court hall, we issued a notice to the Chief Secretary and Director General of Police of the West Bengal government. We directed the registrar to send these contents of this news publication, and asked them to respond.
And so we recently did a series of stories in the Indian Express, which doesn't get published here, so you might not have seen it, on 1,14,000 crores written off by banks in the last 3 quarters, taken suo motu notice by the Delhi High Court, and banks have been asked to submit a sort of proportion. So we understand the need for it, but
it depends upon the facts and cases.
Sure. But sir, in JNU, what's happening in the last couple of days, where the court is asking the police, why is a particular student leader being assaulted, has directed police to ensure protection of police leaders twice, and the involvement of lawyers. It's quite unusual.
No, little embarrassment for me, because if any case has been disposed of by any court, anyone here, we are free to discuss. As far as JNU, we sympathize with the aggrieved parties, but Supreme Court was conscious, sent a delegation of lawyers to the spot. They are going to submit a report either today, they might have been submitted, or tomorrow. And the Home Ministry, Union of India has also called for a report from the Commissioner of Police. National Human Rights Commission also called for sent a notice to all the persons concerned. As a person hailing from judiciary, it may not be appropriate to express any views at this juncture.
I appreciate it. So thank you so much for your time. It was so nice of you to come by. Thank you so much.